dry season. Hey, let's run it. Hey, hey, hey. Grace hit me like boom, can't miss. God with me, whole squad gon' win. Devil try to throw shade, I grin, cause the light too bright where I've been. Woo.
Welcome to Slingshot Nation Live, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another one. This is where we get back to our regularly scheduled program where we say what we want, we say crazy things, and we assume nobody's watching. Derek, how you doing, man?
Feeling good? Big Nothing Burger that we're going to talk about.
Do you like that video? I thought it was so funny.
It was great.
Like, I was driving in today, and I usually brainstorm when I'm taking the kids to school, like, what do I want the video to be? Because usually, like, we're still formulating the plan of what we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, let me try this. And I think it worked out.
I know. It's like Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing.
I freaking love that show.
Seinfeld?
I love that show.
It's so good.
And it's like one of those shows where it's on a long time, massively successful, but it seems like people either loved it or they hated it. There was no in between.
Just like this show.
Oh yeah, I could sit and watch it sometimes. You know, it's like either you loved it or you hated it. Mm-hmm. Were you a Seinfeld person or not?
Love Seinfeld.
Really?
I remember the one episode where I waited 30 minutes to laugh because he came running out of the bathroom saying Vandalay Industries, and then I literally laughed for like 10 minutes. Through the commercial break, I was still laughing. It was like the best.
I can almost guarantee you, Jack is going to say either he doesn't like it or he's never even watched it. Jack, how you doing, man?
Jack.
How you doing over there?
I'm great.
Have you ever seen Seinfeld?
I have not.
I knew it. I knew it. But you know what? Give the guy credit. I mean, like he's 30 years old. You know, he's a decade younger than me, and I don't know, 20 years younger than you. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Man.
I'm kidding, guys.
It's okay.
I'm kidding. Listen, thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for tuning into another Slingshot Nation. A couple weeks ago, I had talked about, I think it was maybe even last week, when we talked about, you know, the whole debacle that happened last week. And I don't know, is it still happening? Is it still falling out? I don't know. Like, you guys said there was some, it doesn't matter. I've been kind of just disconnecting from it. And I mentioned last week how I was planning on doing a show on like weird Appalachia, right? Mm-hmm. And I still would like to do that. And I think there's so much there. There's so much material that we could probably do an entire podcast like series on it. You know, maybe we could just start a new podcast, Weird Appalachia, and just talk about all weird things. But one of the things that I've been finding really interesting, the more I've just been learning, because I'm watching some YouTube videos that are just talking about the region, like how the state of Tennessee even became to be, the fact that the 3 stars for the Tennessee state flag actually signifies 3 sections of Tennessee that are separate economies, separate cultures. It's like Tennessee's a very weird state. And one of the things that I found out was, and I was watching this with the kids, and I'm talking to my son about this. It's really nice that I can have these conversations with him. Appalachian Mountains. Now, when I moved here, people told me it is the oldest mountain range in the world. That's why they're smaller than the Rockies out west, and there's so many different theories and thoughts behind it. But what I found interesting was this one guy I was listening. I can't remember his name, or else I'd give him a shout out. He talked about. And let me tell you guys something. What I'm about to say is a theory. Do you hear me? Look at me. It's a theory. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying stuff right now, okay? But I find it interesting. The Appalachian Mountains were a much larger mountain range, and then he went into the idea of Pangea, right? Mm-hmm. And so we learned about Pangea in elementary school growing up. And, you know, there's people that have thoughts on Pangea. It's not real. It is real. How it came to be, all that stuff, right? But one of the things that, I don't know if it's true, how you get around is really interesting, is the fact that the Appalachian Mountains are not just in North America. Pieces of the Appalachian Mountains are found on Western Africa coastlines. They're found in the I wrote down here, the Scottish Highlands, so in the UK, and in Scandinavia. And they're saying that it shows that there was this they were together at one point, and then over time the continents split and separated, right? Well, I was thinking like, okay, this is not like a an anti-science thought. This isn't anything other than a pontification, what I'm about to say.
Okay.
But Tennessee is known to have the most caves in this country.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's more caves here than anywhere else. The second, I believe, is Kentucky. Well, in Kentucky, we have the Mammoth Cave System, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Mammoth Cave System stretches from Kentucky, I think, all the way up into New York. Is that right?
I'm not sure.
I should look this up before I shared my theory.
It's huge.
It's huge, right?
Multiple states.
Yeah. So I know that there are some cave systems here in Tennessee that they say connect to the Mammoth Cave System. Like it's massive, right? Well, what if in the Bible you have Noah, the flood of Noah, and you have these waters coming from below the surface of the earth and gushing.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like I was thinking about it today. I was thinking it's like the caves are like the veins of the earth, and the water just could have just gushed through them. And is it possible like that the water came through so magnificently powerful that it almost acted as like a pressure washer? You know how the pressure washer, like if it hurts if you hit it, and it splits crap apart. Could it have been that the flood itself was the thing that split the continents, and that's why you have the mountains in these different ranges? And could it be that the cave systems themselves was the pathway that these waters from the deep came through? Could it be that the waters from the deep created the cave systems? And also, like, there's this underwater lake here in Tennessee, and I think, if I remember correctly, it's, if not one of the, it's either the or one of the largest underwater bodies of water in our country.
Yeah, it's called the Lost Sea. It's the lake in a cave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so like, where did that come from? You know, I think I saw that. At one point, they released trout in that lake.
Yeah, I've been there.
See,
There's trout still there.
but they look funky, right?
a little weird.
Yeah, because they don't have sunlight. So I think that from what I heard that they're because I haven't been there, their skin is more pale now, and they don't. I guess they can't see or something like that. But they put them in there because they figured if there was a way for this water to get out, the fish would find it, and the fish never left.
Interesting.
And because it's not really good environments for them to spawn. I don't know if it's like eventually they'll all die out, but they've become this like very pale trout fish.
It's
thing.
weird. They have like lights on the edge, and so it has this like ambient glow to the whole lake. And then you see these shadows like emerge up, and it's just like 20-pound trout.
See, they're massive, right?
They're massive.
They're way bigger than
They've been around
trout.
a long time. Yeah,
that's wild. I mean, I got some big pictures or pictures of big fish in my day, but I've never seen a 20-pound trout. Is that even like a natural thing? Like, do they even get that big? Supposedly,
they're huge. Yeah, I mean, like lake trout get about that big.
Really? Interesting stuff. So, anyways. All that said, it got me thinking, like, this is what happens, like, especially in the morning, my brain is fresh. So it's like these dominoes that fall. And I was like, oh man, I wonder, if the water rushing through the cave systems busts through the seams, splits the continents, the mountains shift. That's why they have the different, Appalachia mountains in different parts of the world and stuff, essentially. And then I started thinking about like the spiritual implications of that. I'm like, I wonder if there's spiritual implications. So, like, are there principalities that once like reigned over the Appalachia Mountains, and then when the split happened, was there a split of principalities or what? And then the next domino dropped. And what episode was it again? I told you to look it up earlier.
What, for
that one member? Oh, it was 629, right? Episode 629.
626.
Thank you.
The specifics.
What I did was I flipped the 6 upside down, just like yesterday, today.
Jack's not reading your mind like you want him to. We're working on it.
We are working on it. I got to get him in that Neuralink chip.
Yeah.
That will work. Are you saying no? So episode 626, and I think the other one was 624, right? Yeah. He was on for 2 episodes, this guy. And I don't remember all the details of this episode, but he talked about, I remember he was Canadian, and he talked about having these lucid dreams that he was interacting with these different entities, and they were giving him this information and telling him like these different histories. And when he was sharing the stuff with me, I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, the punchline is right, it's coming, right? And it never came. And I said to him, this sounds a lot like the biblical narrative of you know, this supernatural war and these entities and all that stuff. And I remember bringing up Genesis 6 to him, and he almost like stopped in his tracks, like, I never thought of that. And I was like, how'd you not think of that? You know, like I was thinking, what the heck? And so part of his lucid dreams so like for because I don't have it all fresh in my mind, his dreams are not just dreams. They're dreams that he has taken to different places and locations. And we've covered that extensively on the confessionals. People have these experiences in dreams where it's a different reality, a different realm that they're being taken to. And he has a similar experience. And these experiences are different as far as logistics goes. Like, not everybody has the same logistical experience. But he's interacting with this entity. And if I remember correctly, the entity, I'm almost certain, the entity that he described was like a upright standing dog. Okay. And here in the Appalachia region, it is a very common, I don't want to say common, like everybody talks about it, but as far as cryptozoology, cryptids, monsters, things that go bump the night in the woods, you got Bigfoot, which is the classic North American, it's everywhere kind of thing. But you have this dog-man creature, right? And that dog-man creature, if you just follow the logistics of its sightings and where people tend to see a lot of it, in my mind, from what I've gathered and experienced through talking with people, it stems the Appalachian mountain range. So in southwestern, south central Pennsylvania, it's a known area, people having these experiences with these upright walking dogs. I know it. I lived in Pennsylvania. I remember that was one of my first experiences with this idea of dog man. And I was like, y'all are crazy. Bigfoot's real, but dog man's not real. And, and obviously I've changed my mind a lot on that stuff. But when you follow the trail of the dog man, you know, we did an entire documentary years ago about the legendary location in Kentucky. That's Appalachia region. And then down here in Tennessee, it's well known. Like, a lot of people have had these experiences with this upright walking canine into Kentucky, Tennessee. And so if you can say that maybe there's a regional principality of that nature here, what's across the Atlantic Ocean with the rest of the mountains, right? This guy, in his relaying of what he was told by this entity told him that there was some kind of great war and catastrophe or something like that, and there was a splitting of the land or something like that, and that's the only thing. And what I'm remembering might be some of the discussion we had, and maybe not been the exact details of the story. I'm just going to tell people, I don't know. But I'm trying to remember something from like years ago. But I remember him saying that on the other side of the ocean, whatever these things were warring at one point, they're separated by water now. And on the other side of the ocean is this other entity that was more like a feline entity, like a cat entity, a Catman, feline entity that was warring with these other entities, which goes right to the idea in the structure that I talk about. There's warring kingdoms, and when you say kingdom, there is a structure in place. It's not just a plateau of everybody's equal. If you think about entities, beings, fallen angels that rebelled against God, if they have the pride and ego to rebel against God, I certainly believe that they would have pride and ego amongst each other. And so this thing, if it's true, whatever, if it's a lie, whatever, this thing is telling him that there was this war and they warred amongst each other. Well, if you look at, it's not, and I haven't looked at the Appalachia mountain, remnants of the Appalachian Mountains in Africa But I do know that one of the things that's commonly discussed in the Middle East is the idea of jinn, and they often do appear in a cat form. And so you just start connecting these dots.
It's like a panther, right? They appear in like a panther form or something like that.
I think it's some different forms, but panther's definitely one of them because I've talked to several soldiers over the years. I don't want to say several. I just remember it was more than once that I've talked to soldiers that have had like these jinn experiences, and they attribute it to a thing that looked like a black panther, a black cat. And I don't think they even knew what they were seeing until I guess the locals probably told them this is something that they deal with. And so it just kind of was interesting how this guy had this experience where he is having these very minimum out of body experiences, these lucid dreams where he's communicating consistently with these entities, and they're laying this foundation of what they're relaying of information, whether it's true or not, is. And then that's where my mind went when I started thinking about the Appalachian Mountains. Could there have been an ancient war right here before the flood? You know, you talk about Noah's Ark and the flood and all the chaotic scenes that happened in those days before God sent the flood. You know, who knows what debauchery and just insanity was happening, and could these beings, these entities that are communicating with him, be talking about something that was post or pre-flood, and could we be right here where we live in East Tennessee, be living at one of the locations where a great split kind of formed and happened because of the Great Flood? You know, like, I don't know.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a cool thought.
Thank you. Because I was really getting self-conscious saying that because he's just giving me a dead stare because he's not feeling good. He's like, great, boss. Yeah, I'm dying right now.
Derek is here because he loves you.
That's right.
I know. He tried calling off. I said, get your butt in here.
That's right. No sick day.
I need you. No sick days for the kingdom. So anyways, I just thought it was interesting. Like the domino effect in my brain, and I was like, man, what?
I'm just picturing the dominoes falling in your brain. Like, whoa, what?
Yeah. You can just watch my eyes go like, don't. But it's just, I found it interesting that, you know, when you think about the spiritual implications and could there have been actual principality warfare happening right here that was actually maybe even stopped because of the Great Flood, you know? And I'm mixing a lot of different theories and stories to get there. Sure. But it's just,
I mean, there are stories of giant cats in Appalachia. Like people see giant like jaguar or black panthers or whatever. Like in this area.
I wish I would have thought about it, and wish you would have brought it up earlier so I could have brought you know what I'm saying, Jack? Yeah. I have a game trail camera picture of a black panther in Kodak, Tennessee. It is a very large cat. And then our buddy Brian over at was a Black Mass Paranormal YouTube channel. He's a local investigator, and he has on his game trail camera in one camera, not one camera shot, but one night of shots. He had deer come in, he had a wild boar come in, and he had like a black panther come in. And the black panther was, if the perspectives of distance from the camera is accurate as we think it is, the black panther was larger than the wild boar.
Wow.
Which is nuts. Like, if you think about how big that has to be, like, I mean, depends on how big the wild boar is, but they get pretty big.
Yeah.
Like, over knee height, and like a cat.
Yeah.
That
and so
big?
like imagine if that cat stands up on his hind legs. Dear Lord, help us all.
That's crazy. I talked to a farmer about
welcome
a year
to the show,
ago.
Derek.
Yeah, thank you. I talked to a farmer about a year ago at a farm market. We were just like chatting it up, and then of course I asked weird questions, and then he said he saw a giant cat.
Really?
Well, yeah, one of his, like 20 years ago, like on the edge of his farmland.
Since we're on the giant cat topic, because it does tie. So like imagine if by theory, let me stress again, theory is true. It might lead to the sightings that people do have of these black cats. And are these black cats actual natural black cats that are large, or are they something other that we would suggest that people are experiencing when it comes to these other canine creatures in East Tennessee and the Appalachias? And so there was a state trooper who I don't want to say state trooper, he was a police officer. And I'm going to do it again. I just did it recently. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to bring it up. Legends and Lore Pizzeria in Madisonville. Madisonville, right?
Yeah.
Madisonville, Tennessee. Legends and Lore Pizzeria. I go in there and I'm talking to the owner, Eddie, and he tells me that a police officer came in one day and told him about him seeing a very large Black Panther cross right in front of his police car, and he has it on the dash cam footage. And he had talked to some kind of wildlife guys and stuff, and they basically told him, like, you don't want to release that footage. And so I don't know. Eddie didn't relay it as if it was a threat, but it was more of like, hey man, for everybody's sake and for your sake, let's just not release that footage, you know. But he said that the cat, now, you know, anybody who's maybe walked down you have a broken down car and you have to walk to the gas station, you're going to walk along the guardrails, right? They're probably what, 3 feet high, whatever it is. He said that this thing was on all four, higher than the guardrail. It had to duck down to get under the guardrail, and its tail looped around the guardrail as it ducked down underneath. So like the tail was so long that it actually could loop around the guardrail as it went underneath. Wow. And it was on his dash cam. And so I was just like, oh man, I want to meet this guy so bad, you know? It's I find this stuff fun. I find it interesting. And Appalachia, man, it's ancient. Even if you take the supernatural out of it and all the weird stuff that Tony talks about, you look at the history of this area, and them saying that at one point the Appalachian Mountains were twice the size of the Rocky Mountains. Imagine what kind of history is here. If you want to take the mainstream science approach of this, where it's like over millions of years and rain and all that, it's wore down these mountains to what there are now, which I think our largest peak is in North Carolina. And I think it's at, Jack, look this up. I think it's at like 6,000 square feet in North Carolina. It's the largest peak in the
above elevation.
Above elevation, right.
Not square feet.
Yes. Let's leave that story for
That's
another
for your
day.
builder.
Yeah. Where's it going with that? Oh, so 6,000 feet above sea level.
It's real quick. It's a Mount Mitchell, 6,684 feet above sea level.
And that's in North Carolina?
Yes.
Okay. I've been watching so much history videos on this area. I just love living here. So they said that, so that's I believe a little less than half of the Rocky Mountains, which I think the highest peak of the Rocky Mountains is like 14,000 square feet. You got me going now with that. 14,000 feet. Did I say square feet initially?
You said square feet.
Oh, okay. Jack will hold those numbers up, but so
14,440.
14,440 feet above sea level, and I mean that's massive, you know. And they're saying that at one point the Rocky Mountains were 30,000 plus feet, like they were the big daddies of the world as far as mountains go. And so if you're thinking about a supernatural event that was going to shift geographical geology, would God decide to have those mountains burst apart? Maybe. And maybe the bursting apart and the shifting, because like what we're talking about, my theory of how this happened, you're talking about a 40-day period. So you're not talking about millions of years of slow shifting. You're talking about a 40-day period of violent gushing water. And could that be the thing that wore down these mountains from 30,000 feet to 6,000 feet? Like it would really paint the picture under this theory of how massively powerful the waters were for 40 days to flood the entire earth. This was not a trickle. This was, you're talking about a flash flood to the max, right? So tell me how far off is my theory? Because you're giving me a dead stare, and I'm just trying to decide if you're sick or if
I'm trying to like process this theory of yours. So
this was not.
You're including like the
this.
Rocky Mountains, Nova Scotia, Africa.
It's all over, man.
Black
It's
cats,
all connected.
Wolves.
It's all connected. Don't get me started on Antarctica. I'm telling you, it's down there too. Hey, I just realized I don't have any water. Can I get some water?
I have a water right here.
Okay, you good?
I gave you one earlier.
I know, but I think we cleaned up in here or something. I don't know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me take a drink of water and calm down.
It's not a bad theory, Jack. It's not a bad theory. It's a very unique theory. There's possibility for it to be true in the realms of supernatural world. There's a chance.
He's like, it's not a bad theory. And before I go any further, Jack saved me.
Well, there's not much I can do.
You know, this is what happens when I don't prime you on what I'm going to talk about.
Totally.
You know, and the whole time I'm waiting, I think he's going to mention the UFO files about the cat.
No, it's totally different.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Derek studied up for the UFO files.
Yeah,
and Tony's dumping this
he's
theory on him
dumping-
last second. He's like, I was thinking about this. It's primed in my mind.
Pre-flood world theory,
Golly, man.
and that we're at the center of the whole thing.
Yeah.
In Appalachia.
In Appalachia.
I love it.
And you know what's crazy? Even crazier? Oh, man, we're just going to keep going with this for a second, guys. Just bear with me, friends. Just bear with me. What camera am I supposed to look at? This one? Bear with me, friends. What's crazy is that not this past Tuesday, but last Tuesday's show with Mike Brewer, I found that a fascinating conversation. I think people enjoyed it. I don't know. But in the beginning of that, he talks about where revival starts and his prophetic vision of the X marks the spot, which would be right here in East Tennessee. And wouldn't it be interesting if one of the most catastrophic locations where the flood was destroyed, revival also starts? Boom! Now I'm saying it's all real. It's not even theory. This is all factual now.
Just like you read Larry Ragland's The Final Flood.
Who? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, so I don't know. It's just I found it really interesting. How do I get on topic now?
Hard cut.
Hard cut.
Well, there's the alleged article about cat-like aliens.
Oh yeah, we could do that, right? So actually, we probably could. So let's do this. Let's cut to the UFO files and just kind of hit on this a little bit or a lot of bit. So last week was nuts for us, and it was a blur. It was chaotic. It was just expanding, emotionally expanding, spiritually expanding. Who are you going to rely on when you're when the storm arises? Like if you think about it this way, whether it's and let me just reiterate this part. I don't believe I did anything wrong, right? But whether you did something wrong or not, whether you messed up in life or whatever, like when you're put in the fire of something, like where do you put your faith in at that point, and where do you stand, right? And so you can run to your father and say, protect me and help me. You can run to your father and say, protect me, help me, I messed up. And I have tried my best to raise my kids in this manner because I am trying to mirror what I believe my relationship with God is, which I believe that I can come to the Lord and say, Lord, I messed up, or whatever's happening is happening, and I need you to help me. I need you to make this your problem, and help me fix this, whatever, right? And I try to teach my kids this as well. And I don't ever want my kids to be scared to come to me to tell me they messed up on something, because just like God is the only one that can help me on so many different things in my life, whether I'm just going through a tough season or whatever, like he is the only one that can help me. At mirroring that to my children, there could be a time that, my kids are really good kids, but maybe one day they come home, one of them comes home and says, Dad, I really messed up. And I need them to be comfortable to come and tell me that so that I can be the only one that can help them. Let's go and rectify this situation. Let's go to the person's house that you accidentally drove your car into or whatever, like I don't want my kids feeling like they need to hide from me when I'm the only one that can help them. And I feel like there's a beautiful mirroring of a divine relationship we can have with God on that stuff as well. How did I get on that? Did I take my ADHD medicine
talking
today?
about the UFO files and probably why last week we didn't really get a chance to talk about it.
Yes. So last week was crazy. And I took the weekend and I breathed, and you know, things are still moving right now, but I feel like things are kind of just whatever. Like you have the asteroid that hits the water, the ripple effects happen, you feel that, and then things start evening out. And what was the quote that I sent you guys yesterday that I really liked hearing? Actually, this one guy texted to me from
sailor,
a former
Yeah,
guest.
smooth seas don't make a good sailor, or something like that.
Right. And so like it kind of hit me because I was just like, that's kind of how I feel right now. I feel like I'm in a storm on the sea, and this is where my skills become sharp, and I become a skilled sailor through life. And so I'm going through last week, and I'm like, this is wild. And then we do our live show on Thursday, and then on Friday, dun dun dun, the UAP file drop.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy, vindication.
Just trying your best Slingshot Nation thing there.
Yeah. And so I know people were saying it's a nothing burger, and it depends on the perspective that you come to the table as to if it was a nothing burger. If you look at the grand scheme of things, right? And listen, there's more coming. I have heard from, I believe, 2 different senators, not personally, but on videos and posts and stuff. I think that they're saying every 2 weeks. I think I saw every 2 weeks, but then I also saw every few weeks. So 2 to 3 weeks, I'm assuming they're going to come out with a drop. So maybe next week, maybe next Friday, maybe the Friday after that, they're going to come out with a drop. And that's going to continue, right? So like this drop that we had is the first one, and there's different narratives being spun even on how this is coming together. There's this idea that they're releasing files in bulk as they declassify them. They're going through, making sure redactions are happening. But then you also have, and we'll pull these up if you guys help me remember to, because I think Jack has them. But there's also these clips of, I think, Tim Burchett talking about there's this weird, I think, withholding of information as well. And so amongst the private sector. And then there's this, it just came out, I think, yesterday, and I just saw headline surfing. I didn't read an article on it, but essentially, from what I understand, the CIA recently came and confiscated documents off of Tulsi Gabbard's desk or from her department that they were getting ready to declassify, which had to do with the JFK assassination and MK Ultra.
Jeez.
And so you have these elements and this idea that, you know, take me out of the equation, because, you know, people can say, well, you know, it was a big nothing burger and all that stuff. I think there's more to come. You see this narrative being painted, and it's been being painted for a long time within our government. There's this war happening within the government. There's different agencies, there's different departments. They don't all communicate. They don't all like each other. This is not a cohesive, let's work together government that we have. I venture to say that I don't think any government's like that. I think that there's always corruption in government. And so you have this idea that, like, okay, so she has the JFK files, she has the MK Ultra files, she's set to release it. Why did the CIA come and take it? And I think it was Paulina Luna that said basically they have 24 hours to return them or something like that. I might be getting my stories confused because there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah, it was 24 hours to return them before she files a subpoena for, I forget what the reasoning for the subpoena was, but to file a subpoena for them to read something on the congressional floor, basically. So kind of like not a filibuster, but like how that people were calling for Thomas Massey to do that with the Epstein files. She would do that with what was being said. You
know, what's funny is that it's like it always comes back to The Office for me. But Dwight Schrute, when he's trying to flex authority, and they're like, "What happens if I don't do whatever?" And he's like, "You'll get a written warning." And then, and then they're like, and after 2 times, you'll get a third one or whatever. And it's like, and then you'll have this, and he just keeps escalating. It's just essentially nothing. I wonder, is that what it's viewed like within the government? It's like, okay, go ahead and subpoena. Like we even saw people who are like not necessarily in the government anymore with the Clintons just last year or this year, I can't remember anymore, where they were being subpoenaed to testify and they were just like, ha, no. Yeah. Like, and eventually they did, but I think there's probably dirt that was pulled. It's a whole card game thing, you know? But like you saw that play out firsthand. And even that, if we want to revisit that, the whole point of them being subpoenaed was for what? It was for the Epstein files. And there were so many questions that were thrown at them that had nothing to do with the Epstein files, at least surfacely, that it muddied the waters. And we don't necessarily, I literally the other day I was thinking about it. I had to think about what was the original reason why they were pulled in, because I just kept on thinking about them asking her about, I don't know if I can say the frat.
Yeah,
I can say that.
I think so. We've talked about it already.
We're just gonna say frizzle, drip. Anybody who knows. You know, I don't know. I don't know if YouTube and also that's one thing that we have to just keep in mind. This is a PSA to my guys here in the house, but also the world. You still, just because YouTube's cool now doesn't mean they're gonna be cool 4 years from now. And they have historically gone back and backdated their rules on videos that were years old. And all of a sudden you wake up with nothing because they're like, oh, you broke the rules. It's like, it wasn't a rule then, you know? Right. So you gotta be careful, right? But it was supposed to be about the Epstein files, and they're asking her about UFOs and what's on the laptop, and they're asking about Nephilim and Gilgamesh email and all this stuff. And it was like, I felt like there was a memo that was put out saying, this is your chance to ask any questions you want. And it was like an opportunity for them to waste time on questions that weren't specific to the Epstein files. I need to know what she knew and what he knew about Epstein, and they're going to lie, but take the time to do that mostly, right?
Right. Like, did Bill pose for that portrait of him in a dress? That's what I want to know.
Didn't they ask about that?
I want to say yes. I think they did ask him about it and stuff, and he couldn't take his eyes off of reminiscing over some girls that he saw in a picture. It was weird. It was very weird. So anyways, man, my mind is going a million miles an hour. Thank you.
Yep.
So all that stuff is happening within the government. You see this war playing out within the government. And I take a step back from my own personal life and situation that unfolded last week. And I'm like, was all this on purpose? You know, like part of me, I was just like, what the heck happened this week? I mean, you have, for us, old news from February that we talked periodically throughout the episodes whenever it was relevant. And then Perry makes his video and it just goes massively viral leading up to Friday. Like, you can't tell me they didn't wake up on Monday last week knowing they were going to drop on Friday. Maybe, but I doubt it. I can't imagine things move that fast in government.
Yeah.
And so it felt to me like the conspiracy like twinge in me was like, was there somebody that pushed an algorithm last week to get this like stir going? And what would be the reason for that? And they make this drop, and was it to gain attention to the drop, or was it to gain attention to the drop to have this deflating attitude about it? And our future drop's going to have more tantalizing information, but because, like I said last week, people they tend to, whatever truth they first believe, they ride with forever. How many people last week on the initial drop said this was a nothing burger? It was absolutely nothing, and you lose 65%, or not 65%. Let's say 45% of the initial eyeballs for the next drop. You know, and eventually it becomes. And this is just me projecting. I don't know, but eventually it becomes a juicy drop that only us conspiracy dorks even look at. Yeah. And the normies don't even look at it because like, oh, that was nothing. It's like, no. The first one was just the warm up, you know?
Yeah. And what was really concerning was all the AI articles that were made that were fake, that weren't in the drop itself. A lot of like very tantalizing things, like the Catman one. Yeah. There was other ones about like reptilians and like all this other stuff. They were very sensational, and like they were all just made up in AI articles that were made to look like the drop. And so, I mean, it's that realm of like, are we going to be able to decipher truth in the future or not? Because it's going to be really hard.
I absolutely agree. And I'm looking at this one document that you were referencing, and I don't think we've confirmed that it's fake, but you and I'm assuming Jack, just by default, agree that we lean towards this is a fake document, right? Is that what you think too?
I spent most of Friday, Jack can attest to this. I sat in my office and I read like as much. I spent like 8 hours looking through all this.
So while I was crying on Friday, you were good. Oh, everything's falling apart.
You weren't crying.
I wasn't crying.
He might have cried.
Did I cry?
No, you didn't.
Okay,
Cry.
I was gonna say maybe I did. I don't know. It's all a blur.
But no, I mean, I went through and I looked through all the evidence that was there. There really wasn't anything super substantial that we didn't already know. They're just admitting that they had protocols in place for UFOs so they could actually start understanding and comprehending.
Are you moving past the Catman document?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I want to hit this.
No, we can hit it up
now.
But I went through and there's very systematical and like what they released. It's all like very much late 40s, early 50s. A lot of it. Some of the film that was released. I mean, it's nothing different than we've already seen. Just little blobs in thermal cameras. You know, like it's nothing that would make us go like, oh, there's something more to this.
Right.
It's everything we already know. So I mean, I went through it and I did not see anything. I even ran through ChatGPT and there was nothing about a feline entity.
In the initial drop that came last Friday is what you're saying.
So the way it's set up is like there's 10 really big files at the beginning.
Yeah.
They're like 200 pages each. Some of them are handwritten notes. So ran all that through ChatGPT and found that there was no link in any of those sections to that article. So
this document that I'm talking about, that you're talking about, I want to cover some of this here. I also want to say that when you look at this document, and I imagine people can probably search online and find it somewhere. If you go on X, you could probably find this document. Just type in like feline Department of War declassified document, and it should come up. It looks like to somebody, a non-trained eye, it looks like it could be, oh, this is official. Unidentified humanoid design, designation N7, non-human biological entity, January 12th, 1994, 23:17 hours, which is military time. It gives the coordinates, where it happened. I believe this was at Area 51, this story in this document. And to basically summarize it, it's saying how some kind of entity that looked like a cat popped up on the property and interacted with people. And I can't remember if it like ran away or left. And it just kind of like, from what I understand, it seemed to have dwelled. It was dwelling on the property. It was like, I don't know if it was like pitching a tent and squatting or what, but it's like it was this very clear, like the entity spoke. I am an explorer. I was observing your planet. Your species has great potential, but is self-destructive. I cannot interfere. That is our directive. I will return, but not soon. Those are things that they said that it spoke. Medical examination, no signs of disease or injury. Body temperature slightly below man average. Skeletal structure similar to human but denser. DNA does not match any known terrestrial species. Hair silver blonde, eyes gray silver, age 20 to 25 Earth years, female, feline ear appendages, feline. Let's see here. Enhanced agility and balance. No observable body hair. And so it was like this, like, I think they were trying to paint like this idea of like a human hybrid, right? And it's from light years away. I don't know. So when you're, I'm glad Jack actually has that. Thank you, Jack. You're so on it, dude. Good job, man. I just saw that you're showing this. So you see this and it's like, wow, interesting. And then you look at the top and you have the declassified May 8th, 2026. But if you look at the left-hand corner and you zoom in, I don't know if you can do that on your end, Jack, but
Left hand?
so if you zoom in to the left-hand corner, you see security classification. It says top secret. And when you look at that insignia, you can't make out what any of those words are. It looks like almost like
AI.
a different language,
Yeah,
like almost like it's AI.
100%.
100%, bro. Like when you zoom in, when you super zoom in on this, at least I can on my computer where I'm looking at, I can still see the word secret when I zoom in, top secret right here. But when I look at that emblem, I cannot make out any of these words whatsoever.
And none of the files were actually top secret. Like everything was only in the secret category. Like they haven't actually revealed top secret or like next level stuff.
So that's an important distinction right there, is that there's a difference between top secret and secret. There's different layers and levels to this. Things that, like, there's plenty of people who are super smart, are in this stuff. They know how to talk it and everything. And there's people like me who's just like, I don't know.
This looks good.
I try my hardest not to drool while the camera's rolling. Like, you know, like, it can be difficult at times, you know? Yeah, I mean, so this I believe to be fake. You believe to be fake. Jack, I'm sure. Do you think it's fake? Just
Yeah.
give you a chance to say, yeah, cool. So we believe it's fake. Now, take it for what it is, right? Interesting little side note, though. The Catman that we were talking about before, and now this, I had an episode. What episode number was it, Jack? Do you remember? It was shoot, what episode number was that? We were just talking about. Holy cow.
122.
377.
377. Yeah.
Overtime.
Yeah.
So I did an overtime 377. At the very end, him and I were done talking, and we hit record again because of this. He starts talking about how, because he worked at Area 2, and there was this story that circulated around saying that, I don't know if it's at Area 2 or one of the nearby bases, Area 51, but this legend that they were doing these hybrid experiments and stuff, and one of these things got out and escaped, and it was like a Catman is how I think he described it, right? And I think, if I remember correctly, and I don't know why I can remember some things and not others, but I think he said that he was stationed there in 92, and on this document it says 94.
Oh,
and so I was like,
ballpark.
this is interesting, you know? Like, I don't think that this document's true, but I'm just saying it's interesting how.
Did you make this in AI?
I told you not to bring things up that you know to be true. No, I didn't make it with AI.
Make it,
no.
You're too busy.
Theoretically, I suppose, right? So anyways, I just found that all interesting. And so this is one example of something not being true that was circulating around, being over sensationalized about this UAP file drop. And so even within these different atmospheres that we're existing in, with these different conspiracies and info drops, whether it's the Epstein files or the UAP files or the Tony Merkel files or whatever, like there's these different actors that are going to start seeding disinformation to feed narratives, and maybe that was seeded by just some goofball, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was seeded by somebody who's trying to muddy waters. You don't know, you know, and we gotta be cognizant of that as we go through a lot of this stuff, whether it's the UAP files or whatever. That there are people. Like, just because you have the file drop doesn't mean that the effort is over on trying to control the story. And I actually, speaking of, let me pull up my Instagram here real quick, because yesterday I came across, maybe I don't have it, a quote. Let me see here real quick. I got to scroll all the way down in my pictures because... dude, do you have as many pictures on your iPhone as I do? Like, I got like 25,000.
Yeah, I got that.
Do you? You don't even have kids.
No.
They're all of you.
So,
They are.
this quote I have here, the deception doesn't require the phenomenon to be fake. It requires the interpretation to be controlled. And so when this information is being released, it's like the war doesn't stop there. The spin and the narrative and the controlled understanding of what this is, that becomes the warfare. The posts get moved. The fencing gets moved, and so at one point the war was keeping everything secret. Now, okay, so everything's out. We can even say, why is it out? What's the reason they're releasing this? You know, is it because we just want to be the most transparent organization and administration ever in the history of mankind? We love everybody here, or is there something else going on? I would venture to say there's something else going on. And so with that, you have this dump. It is what it is. Whatever the motive was behind it, however it happened, and it's happening. It's going to continue to happen. We talked about how the July 8th date was out there, but it was getting bumped up to mid-May, and here we are mid-May, and it dropped. So you have this interpretation initially, but there's going to be people seeding, and it could be, you know, shadow government. It could be people within government. It could be private citizens who have very vested interests in having as many people as possible view the topic a certain way for either their benefit or their spiritual desires. There's so much going on with this stuff. It is not simple. There is a race. This is what I've been saying a lot this past week. There's a race to the table of disclosure. We often look at disclosure as something where the government has these files, this information that have been collected for generations, and they're just sifting through it, making sure everything's squared away. Everybody has the black dots over their names, and then we release it, and that's how it works. There is a table of disclosure, and there are private organizations to within the government organizations, many of those, to individual people who are mad dashing to that table, trying to get a seat at it so that they can help control the interpretation of the information coming out. And that's where we're at right now. And part of that control is desensitizing people. And so we have, for decades now, been slow drip desensitized to the idea of UFOs. I remember when I was a kid, I was terrified of the idea of UFOs. Then I saw one as a child, and I was like, "Holy cow!" And my reaction was the exact opposite of what my fear said. So I was terrified of UFOs. I thought about this stuff all the time when I was a kid. Like, I wasn't a researcher. I'm still not a researcher, but I thought about the stuff, and I was terrified until one night I see it in the sky, and my mom's with me, and she sees it, and it's coming in across the field. And I'm in a trailer park in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. Shout out to Highland Estates, and it's coming across this like field towards us, and then it shifts and starts going up the road. And the fear leading up to that day of UFOs was not present. There was absolute astonishment. I ran inside, got my mom. She came out and saw the part where I believe it was coming towards me and us, and then shifted going up the road. But I found myself running up the road after this in complete fascination, right? And so, like, there's, again, I don't know how I got on that.
Well, no, it's
total
good.
recall, boys.
No, it is,
Check that out.
I really liked where you're going with this, though. So, like, that change in your perspective is, I think, what you're going to, right? It's like what you feared and then what you saw it. What was your then response after you had seen it?
Yeah.
You went from unknowing to knowing, right?
Yeah, totally.
And then what was your other response? You went from fear to, because you said you were afraid of this fear.
I was feared, but I went to astonishment. I was stunned. I was like, it was like I had this like pull. I was like, what is that? You know, I had to see it more.
Right. And so I think what you're trying to convey is that this is what's coming for everybody. When we start seeing spaceships actually start flying around in the middle of the daytime, we're going to be in astonishment.
Do you think it's going to happen?
I think it's possible. I think it's all man-made, most of it. But
scary.
But that's the whole point, is that it's going to get pushed to the point where, just like you're in a state of fear, and then all of a sudden you're in a state of astonishment. Is what we're trying to help people do, is bypass that and actually have a comprehension of what this stuff really is. So we're not just in astonishment. We're not going to just be caught with our hands down, but we're going to be like, no, 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 no. I know the truth and I'm ready.
Yeah.
You know?
I still don't understand where I was going with that, to be honest with you. I got in story mode. I was like, oh, I can tell this story.
But I tied it in good for you?
Yeah, sure. I was like, this is a perfect opportunity to tell that story. So here we are. Actually, that story is the first chapter of my book that I wrote. So yeah.
What did the UFO look like?
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
So it started out when I was taking the dog outside, and it was a set of lights in the field across. So we lived in a trailer park, and there was a road in front of the trailer, and then there was another set of trailers across the street, and behind that was, from my childlike perspective, a massive cornfield. And there's these woods off to the right-hand side that I used to go down in during the summertime. And it was a set of 3 lights, or 4 lights, and they were kind of not perfectly in sync, you know, like even on all sides. And they're going, and then it shoots out a beam of light on like a 45-degree angle over the woods that I was playing in all the time as a kid. And at some point I run inside and get my mom, and when she comes out, she sees it. It is now coming towards us, and when it gets towards us, that's when I run to the sidewalk, and it shoots up the sky, or up the road, and I run up the road, maybe like 3-4 trailer lengths up the road. We'll do this in trailer park measurements. So, like, and I was completely stunned.
Was it silent?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was no
Completely
sound.
silent.
I don't remember hearing anything. My mom could recall the story too. I actually, when I was writing it down, she helped me remember details.
Dude, that's like a Spielberg sci-fi movie. Like,
You
seeing
think so?
it come out of the woods on the cornfield,
Dude,
flash a light.
bro,
Like, that's so crazy.
Like, it was crazy because when I was a kid, I would go down in those woods, and there was like this magical. I didn't have the words for it then, but the way I would describe it now is like when I entered the woods off of, I can't remember the name of the road now, but there was this road I would walk down in the trailer park because there's many roads, big. I'm talking, this is a big trailer park, hundreds of trailers. And the woods that this thing shot down on out in the cornfield, they cut into the trailer park. And there was a road you would walk down, and there was this opening, a thin opening into the woods that us kids would walk into. And I spent a lot of time down there. We built tree houses. We built like little swimming pools out of the creek and everything. And when I would walk down there by myself and I'd go into the woods, you would feel like a little nervous. And maybe it was because I was a kid and I thought about this weird stuff and Bigfoot. I was like, is Bigfoot real? Is it out there? Is it watching me? But there was like this almost sense of like a magical feeling. Like you felt like you were transcending into another state of existence, and your imagination just go wild, and you just start dreaming, and you start living out these just visions of a child, you know, in your little land that you created with tree houses and a makeshift swimming pool that we built. We took these giant rocks to dam up the creek, and then we borrowed somebody's tarp that we found, and we laid it down, and it dammed it up, and that was our little swimming pool. And it certainly did beat going to the trailer park swimming pool that we had, because things got violent there. Bring me back on track, Jack. Sorry.
Real quick, somebody said and made a good point in the chat, and they were like, you should call Tony out for saying that he's never experienced anything, because you always say that. And I feel like every time that we recount something, there's another layer to something you've experienced.
I think in your ADHD mind, it feels like you never experienced
in the moment,
anything.
maybe. I suppose. I guess when I'm hearing other people's experiences, it's so like
visceral.
Yeah, like you think about, I don't know, like, yeah, I guess visceral, is the way to visceral.
Not yet. We'll get there.
Okay. Yes. So I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm just, I know what I experienced, and I talk to people with their experiences, and maybe in my mind, I'm hearing their experience, and it's just so much more dramatic, that I look at my experiences, and I'm just like, I ain't got nothing like that. you
It
know?
actually it makes me wonder if that's like a psychological thing that a lot of people battle with, because you have experiences throughout your life of different things, and because it doesn't line up with how dramatic someone else's was, you
Yeah.
downplay the real supernatural nature to what you experienced.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can actually verify that, because I can't tell you how many times people have said over the years that they never really considered them having any weird experiences till they listened to the show and they realized, oh, I've experienced that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe there's a sense of normalization to it. And I'm
Yeah.
the worst person for that, because of what I've done over the last 10 years. Like, I am so desensitized. And desensitized, that's the key word. We're going to bring that back. That's very visceral. So we got we got
Please
desensitized.
switch the camera to Jack. He's dying.
We got
Oh, he missed it.
oh man.
I cannot wait until we get that screen up. Oh man.
Oh, people, you have no idea. I know, but it's really funny to us. But I think desensitized was the word that got us here to begin with my UFO story. I think over time we are exposed to this stuff, this information over 20 plus years, 30 years, and it's gotten closer and closer to this part where in late 2017, disclosure, I guess, softly started happening, and people who were casual or not even tuned in started tuning in. And it was such a slow drip that I think there was this desensitization to it
Yes.
that caused people to look at what happened on Friday and say, oh, it was a nothing burger.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time, as far as I know, in human history, a government of a country, not to mention my perspective, the most powerful country in the world, has released files on UFOs, UAPs, and strange phenomenon. That alone is not a nothing burger. Like we all come to the table with what we want out of it.
Yeah.
You know, some people want the juicy stuff. Talk to me about the aliens probing people. But some people come to the table of like, I just want to know what they know. It's different perspectives. Like there are people who, like, I'll bring up Fringe, who have had such traumatic experiences with this topic that I haven't talked to Fringe about this, but I can almost assure you that her perspective is probably like, all right, cool. But from what I experienced, I would really like for them to tackle that topic, right, in these drops. And maybe it will happen, maybe it won't happen. But the very sheer fact that there was a drop from our official government on this topic, I would say makes it a not a nothing burger.
Sure.
The files that were in there are meh from my perspective. And I have seen some things that were interesting as far as why is that even in there? Because I'm not the one to interpret what every video is, but there's that one video, I think you called it like the compass looking thing on the screen.
Yeah.
I'm calling it like a star, but I think anybody who's looked at it like knows. And it's like this star shaped thing. And it has like this, like, not chemtrail, but like a contrail coming from it. And you look at it and you're like, what the heck is that? And then somebody kind of showed that video. And at one frame, it looks like there's a parachute on my left upper left corner of it, and people were saying it's a flare. I don't know the complex. Yeah, that video. I don't know the complexities of that right there. Can you pause that, Jack? Can you?
Yeah, I'll go back.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like people say flare.
Oh
right
yeah. Yeah.
So people say
that's
it was a
good.
flare. I don't have very many experiences with flares. In fact, I have zero. I don't know exactly why a flare needs a parachute. It's probably, I imagine it's a person that has a flare attached to them and they're on a parachute. Maybe we could get a paratrooper to tell us, you know. But it's interesting that, like, why is that in there?
And that's in thermal too, right? Like that's obviously thermal. That's not like basic, like full tone spectrum. So is that like a target that you think that is, or is that actually the
It might
flare
be an
itself?
overlay.
An overlay,
like
yeah.
an overlay. I don't know. I have no idea.
Mhm.
But it's interesting that people's perspective, and they're offering, you know, a perspective on this, that it's a
Sorry, I was on the wrong
parachute.
camera.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, so a flare descent. So the parachute is to help the flare that shoots up quickly fall slowly, because otherwise it'll fall quickly and burn out in seconds rather than burning out over time slowly. And that's why they do that. It says distress signals at sea, military illumination flares, search and rescue, and marking locations at night.
Thanks, Jamie. I mean, Jack. Like how I did that. I'm giving him credit for his skill.
His skills.
Flip that.
Good job. But there's that video, right? And so there's things in there. You're like, why is that in there? And you can say that they're just releasing things that, you know, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, because if that explanation is true, like that shouldn't be in there unless your own government doesn't know the difference, which would be kind of scary but hard to believe. And maybe it's the people who are doing the releasing. Maybe
They missed it.
maybe they're interns. I don't know. I have no idea.
That's fair.
You know, but there is that idea. So people talking about Nothing Burger, but I would say this: I'm Tony the podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an authority. I'm not a guy that you should 100% say, well, Tony thinks this, so that's what I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always right. And jeez. If you look at, I'm kidding, but if you look at what others are saying,
Mm-hmm.
so Eric Burleson, and I think this clip came out last week, I believe. He said something, and this is me paraphrasing, but he said something about how his faith is in Jesus Christ. He is a Christian. He's saved through Christ.
Mm-hmm.
However, some of the information and things that he's seen has challenged, not made him question his faith, but it has challenged his faith.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sitting congressman that's being exposed and given information.
Yeah.
That should be seemingly credible. Do you have that?
Mhm.
Oh, you do?
Mhm.
Oh, sweet. Man, he is like Jamie today. Holy cow. I'm loving it. You're doing really good, man.
Oh, look at that. I had it, but now look at how big that is.
Yeah, what happened? There we go.
I have to zoom out.
Oh, okay.
Just zoom right in. There we go. Sorry.
I should get like a
everybody.
soundboard over here so I can just like do some sounds and
Yeah.
stuff.
Beep. All right.
I'm a Christian. I am absolutely a born again believer. I believe that the only way to salvation is through Jesus Christ.
Good for you. Me too.
So
God bless
let
you.
me kind of walk you through my personal journey on this.
Okay.
I'm a skeptic. I believe that I'm from the show me state. You're gonna have to prove to me what these are. I'm gonna have to see them for myself in person before I believe anything. That being said, I've often wondered how does this fit with my biblical worldview? How does this really challenge my faith?
Right.
And what I've come to the conclusion is that if you pay attention to what the Bible actually says, not what you think it says, this does not conflict with anything that we believe as Christians. You know, the Bible is very clear. We're not the first creation, that there were entities, part of the heavenly kingdom, the kingdom of God, that were created before mankind entered this universe.
Gotcha.
And the question is, what are those things? I mean, the Bible describes them broadly as angels. It describes some of them as seraphim, some as cherubim. I don't know what those things are.
Right.
And,
Me
and
neither.
most people, but at the end of the day, I don't want to pigeonhole myself as a believer into saying, an alien comes from an extraterrestrial being comes down, and that doesn't fit the Bible. Well, maybe it does. Maybe that's what the Bible was pointing towards all along. I'm not a theologian, but I'm just trying to say, the more that we as Christians just stick to what the Bible actually says, as opposed to what we believe it says, I think we'll be better off. You know, the Bible doesn't say, for example, the devil, there's nowhere in the Bible where it says the devil has a tail and a pitchfork.
Right.
It doesn't, it's not there. And so start shaking away any kind of medieval version of your interpretation of the Bible, and I think you'll.
All right. So a couple of takeaways with that. One, he does talk about it challenging his faith. I don't think he was saying that it caused him to question his faith. I don't think it was telling him, or he was trying to say that he almost walked away from his faith, but there was a challenge of his faith, right? That is somebody who feels that he is strong in his faith. He is an intelligent man. He works within government, all that, right? Now you take that idea, and he even talked about, there's a biblical framework for this. You can still be a Christian, and you can still have your faith in Jesus Christ and be grappling with these topics, right? You take that and you overlay the idea that he was challenged, which means it made him think, okay, how does this work, right? How many people in this world who are, let's just say, struggling with their faith in dry seasons, or, if we're doing our job, very new to the faith, baby Christians, they don't know what they believe. They just heard about their Savior, Jesus Christ, like last week, and something comes out that whatever challenged his faith and made him really think through things, do they have those kind of people that I just mentioned? Do they have the muscles, the spiritual muscles and the brain muscles to actually work through that like he did, or will their path go more along the lines of like, I don't know if anything I believe is true, and seek answers elsewhere?
The nuance of the narrative is so important. And that's what I think we're gonna, we will be challenged, because sure, there could be creation, but was this creation, is Jesus part of these, and you know what I mean? He's their brother. You know what I mean? How are they gonna spin it theologically?
Right.
And how are we gonna have answers for these things? Because that's really where it gets really crazy. If they walk out with a biological entity, in the flesh, all of a sudden, how does that work for people that are only spirit-minded? Or how does that work for people that, don't have a spiritual mind? And it's how do we connect all these realms together to get a proper worldview? Because we're going to be really not with good answers.
Right. So I'm going to revisit this quote that I read earlier, and I'm going to finish the thought on that, because what we're talking about, I think, is important to bring this up again. The quote is, "The deception doesn't require the phenomenon to be fake. It requires the interpretation to be controlled." And so when I'm talking about people racing to the table of disclosure, all this needs to be kept in mind on the spin of things that could be coming out.
Yeah.
And the other part of this quote that I have here is, "Hold the evidence loosely and the image of Christ tightly." And that is why we have been screaming from the rooftop that, guys, there is something coming.
Yeah.
Guys, deception is not deception. Disclosure is coming.
The movie. No,
that too. Which we are going to make it a work day at the movie theater. The team is going to the movies to watch that. But there's this disclosure, hard disclosure coming. And what we're saying is, no matter if it's good, bad, whatever the information is that comes out, wrap your arms around Christ and hold on tight, right? Seek comfort and protection underneath his protective arms.
Yeah.
He tells us to come to him as little children, and this is your opportunity. Sure. This isn't a burden. This is your opportunity to run to Jesus and say, protect me like I'm a child.
Yeah, and read the crap out of your Bible. Write it on the tablet of your heart, so that nothing can etch it off, and nothing can graffiti it, and nothing can distort the truth that you put inside of you.
Right. Absolutely. Derek, you're waking up, man. I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Yep.
So, all right, let's go. So let's go to something that is not real in the file drop, that was in the file drop, but is real. So,
Jack, you got that one?
I don't know.
Where's the whiteboard? I need him to write this out.
First of all, did I ever send you the I don't know if I did, Jack. So if I didn't, it's okay, but you can maybe try finding it as well. One of the images in this drop was an FBI rendering.
Oh yes.
It was an FBI, I think it was an actual picture of a field, and it was a rendering of an up. Go ahead.
I read this one. Yeah. So it actually, they captured the exact spot where this event took place and then did a render overlay with what they saw come out. So the backdrop is the exact spot where this actually occurred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw that, or maybe you told me, people online were like getting mad. They're like, this is obviously AI, this is obviously fake, but in the description it says this is a rendering. Right. And I found it interesting, that picture and just a little information we have of it. Because one, and am I correct in saying it was the FBI that was listed as the organization that looked into it? Just fact check me on
I
that.
believe so, yeah.
But
a lot of them are FBI files, yeah.
So we have something that is in the file drop, and you take it for surface level. We don't know who we can trust, you know, even like, you know, the Congress people and stuff, like everything. Again, hold the evidence loosely, hold onto the image of Christ tightly. So this drop comes, that image is there. Have you found it, Jack?
I don't know which one you're talking about. I can't.
The one with the
Like
UFO
the
coming out of a
silver
burst of
bullet?
light.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this drop comes, and that this image is in there, and it's clearly fake, right? FBI investigates it, and they report on it. One thing that I find interesting, thank you, Jack, is the fact that the FBI thought enough to investigate it, make a report about it, and take it at least serious. They said that there's multiple witnesses, right? I remember the day. You guys remember Ashton Forbes that came on the show? This is before you started. I was the largest platform that brought him on at the time. I mean, I don't think he had 10,000 followers on X at the time. And we just discussed the videos, right? He, about, I don't know, a week or two later, like, because he was digging. He was going.
It's Malaysia flight, right?
Yeah, he was going hard on. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I should probably say.
Yeah.
Like the Malaysian flight that disappeared into the portal with the 3 orbs flying around it. Right. Yeah. So, he was so convinced he had like cracked the case. He's texting me. He's like, I'm calling the FBI. I was like, don't do that. I was like, don't do that. Like, I was like, don't bring me up. You know, I was just like, I don't want
to be on the radar.
Yeah, like, because I don't know what this video is. I don't know how you got it. Really, I don't know if you broke laws. I'm just here to let you tell the story, right? And he's like, I'm calling him. I'm like, I don't think that's wise, man. He did it. You know what they did? They answered the phone, and then they hung up on him. And he was like stunned by it. He was like, they hung up on me. And so he calls again. And I think they did take a report, but I don't think they took him serious. So yeah, it's different eras of the FBI. But what is it about Ashton Forbes and what he was saying that was so like not realistic for them that they hung up the phone on him? But with this situation, they actually went to the scene, found the spot it happened, talked to the eyewitnesses. They said there was multiple eyewitnesses, and recreated with a rendering of what they said they saw. On the screen, people were seeing, this is exactly what Ashton and I talked about on his episode with me. And you'll see here, there's one orb coming in, then there's a second one, and a third one, and they start circling around. And there's 2 different camera angles. There's Ashton's the one to break this down. I don't.
So on the left is the FLIR, which is the heat. It can sense heat, and on the right is the satellite version of what was being seen.
Gotcha.
The one that was FLIR was being shot by a drone.
Yeah. So and it's like, okay, well, why is a drone there? You know. And so there's a lot of people that where'd it go? Oh, that's right. I forgot about the portal. So there's a lot of people that are saying that video is fake and that it came from a video game or something. I don't know. But Ashton's done a ton of research on it. But my point of bringing all this up is that they didn't take him serious, but they took whoever called in about this serious, and they went and recreated a rendering of the scene. And that scene, we don't have the story. I don't think we have the story. Maybe we have the report somewhere in this drop of what the people are saying happened. I would love to hear that. But what we're seeing in the picture seems like something metallic, technological, manifesting here in this plane of existence from somewhere else.
What if it was the Malaysian flight?
That'd be crazy.
I'm just messing.
That'd be crazy. You just started a domino.
Time
started a
travel.
domino. And so that when I see that, for me and my perspective, understandings, I know there's people that would say, "Oh, they're bending time. These are space travelers from 400 million light years away, and the way they get here is they have the ability to literally like have time and fold time and shoot through. So it's much shorter of time for them, and that's what that was." I believe that a lot of this stuff is from another realm and it's being brought here. I don't believe that things that exist in other realms are just poofs that you can put your hand through. I think that you see different manifestations of that in different topics of conversation.
Yeah.
You can talk about scriptures and angels appearing and how they appear, very physical, to the point that Paul even says that you could be entertaining an angel and not even know it. Now, you could say, well, maybe that's because they're invisible and you don't know if they're there or not. Or you could say, maybe they're sitting at the table with you. You just don't know they're an angel.
That's right.
I've talked to people who believe that they had encounters with angels that looked like homeless people. I say people. It was one person that told me that.
My dad had an experience like that too.
Really?
Yeah.
And so it's like, there's that. You have Lot and that whole situation. That seemed pretty physical because the people wanted to have sex with them,
Lot from the Bible.
Yeah, sorry, thank you. And so you have this idea of heavenly beings, interdimensional beings, manifesting in this realm of existence and being very physical, not to mention the people who have demonic encounters that leave body marks or marks on their body, that they see it manifest in their room. They say it looked physical. It ducked to come in the door, things like that, right? It doesn't seem like they're just poofs. They have an ability to go to other locations, other realms. I would venture to say second heaven. And I know there's different perspectives on second heaven, but I think second heaven is the active zone. It's the war zone. It's what you see playing out in Daniel 10, the power prince of the prince of Persia, spirit prince of Persia, and that war and the spirit prince of Greece coming, and Michael the archangel coming and relieving the other angel to come to Daniel, which I believe is Gabriel.
Yeah.
Like you see this action happening. I think that's happening in the second heaven, where warfare happens, where these fallen entities are active.
Yeah.
And I've I know that this isn't good enough for some people, but I have talked to people who have had different experiences that point to that reality. And at some point, when you're in my shoes and you spent nearly 10 years doing this, thousands of people you've talked to, at some point you start saying, yeah, I think this is way more complex than one, that I can ever comprehend, and two, that we've comprehended up to this point. And so I think you see that manifesting in that image, the idea of technological advancement, a technology being brought here, and they're describing what they saw happen in real time. Do you have anything to say before I go?
Yeah, so that the Department of Army declassified document that Jack and I are going to do for members episode. So if you want to watch it, become a member today, and you can watch that coming up. But it talks about actually that time-space realm is something that's in that dimension. There's not really like a time, it's not linear anymore in that dimension. And so
you could be asleep. You could be asleep for 8 hours here and spend years there.
Yeah, and so maybe that time travel is actually them in the astral realm, in that second heaven realm, in this other dimension that we don't necessarily have our finger to put exactly where it is.
And if you think this is all sci-fi woo-woo stuff, bro, I don't know what to tell you. Look into things, because there are things that are outside of my show that lean to what I'm saying. Even the idea of how active your dream state is and how you can actually participate in it. Like, this is not something that is new and original to me. There are companies out there that are exploring how to interact with humans in their dreams. That sounds like a movie. What was it called? Inception.
Yeah.
But also there is a company out there, I can't remember the name of it now, but it literally successfully was able to send a message to, there's two people laying on a bed, and they're hooked up to this machine, and they're able to send the message from them to one person, and that person able to send the message to the other person while they're dreaming. Like that happened. Like that's real.
My son had a dream, and he's a very like lucid dreamer. He had a dream once when he's like, yeah, I was like out in a sphere on the edge of the country, and all of a sudden I met this other boy, and we started talking, and he's like, oh, you're like me, and like they had this like total, again, like agreeing with you, like in the dream state, like communicating within
He
the
was
dream.
in a sphere?
He was like on the edge of like the continent or whatever, like of our continent.
But was he like in a bubble sphere? Like he was like, was it like a travel device?
I don't remember it. No, he wasn't in a travel device.
Okay.
He's just like lucid dreaming. But he met another boy from Great Britain, and they met in that realm, and were like, oh, you're like me, and they had this whole conversation about all of it.
You were going to tell me he was in a travel device. That was going to be a domino that was going to fall right now. That domino was going to fall hard. I was like,
no,
say yes, say yes.
Cannot confirm that. No.
I'm going to talk to him.
Okay.
Is that all right?
That's fine.
Cool. So anyways, we're bringing this all into a story that I want to get to here. I believe that, and I referenced this story last week. So Jack, if you could prime and just be ready. We are dealing with, from my perspective, a lot of different things under the umbrella of one topic.
Mm-hmm.
They have different origin points, they have different functions, and it's hard to make sense of everything.
Sure.
What you see in that rendered video or image could possibly, I'm not saying this is what exactly it is, but it does point to the idea that there is a manifestation, there's an ability for something to manifest from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And we have dissected people's testimonies. Bob Lazar has been beat to death over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But this idea of reverse engineering technology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And where is that technology coming from? Could that technology be something that was brought here, like you see in that picture, and it's crash landed or gifted, and now we're reverse engineering that technology to, for technological advances on this side of reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea, well, why? For me personally, it's because there is a war going on for the human soul. And if you can get man, this is the rinse and repeat storyline of the Bible. If you can get man to want to be like God, was it Genesis 3:5? Genesis 3:5? Look it up for me. Genesis 3:5. Jack, let's erase Derek Jack. I think it's Genesis 3:5. But this idea of like, you will be like God. And how does that happen? You see it throughout Scripture, different ways that unfolds.
You will be like God, yeah. Verse 5, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
How do I do this? How do I do that? This is so much. It's like a number thing. I swear, like I there's something wrong with my brain.
Or something right with your brain.
I can't remember certain things, but when it comes to numbers, it just pops.
God knows that your eyes will be open as soon as you eat it, and you will be like God, knowing both good and evil.
Love it.
Boom.
Don't ask me to memorize it. I can memorize the number, but I can't memorize the word for word. It drives me nuts. But it's this idea that if we can get man to feel and view themselves as God, they don't need the God. It's this idea, this war is to separate us from God. And one of the best ways to do it is to have man feel like they don't need God. The enemy doesn't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't care if you worship him. Satan does not care about these little dorks running to the Satan temple and worshiping them. He doesn't care if it's them or if it's the people down the street who are atheistic, whatever. It just don't worship God. And a great way to do that is to give man idols to worship instead, and they will be their own gods.
Oh, yeah. And that's one of the narratives that we've heard a long time, isn't it? That like they are us from the future, right?
Yeah.
So like they're just more evolved us, and they're able to time travel and to give us knowledge that we need now, so we don't destroy the earth or whatever.
Absolutely. So I want to play a clip from an episode, and this might get long. Jack just gave me a nod. It's going to get long. I might tell you to jump forward at some point, Jack. But we're going to play a clip from an episode that I referenced last week, episode 122, Secret Military Enochian Technology. I'm hoping, I didn't schedule this, but I'm hoping to have a phone call with this guy again on Saturday. Off air, he doesn't want to be recorded. But I'd like to touch base with him again because it's been years. But to catch you up to where we're going to pick up at, military, crash retrieval team. He had a very specific job on this mission. This was a very unique mission because he's never part of a mission like this before. Everything else he's done was seemingly normal. This was a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
What you're about to hear is a very specific thing that we want to focus on, but the overall story, which is ours, is very supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the only thing that he experienced that was head-scratching, supernatural, weird. Jack, if you could go, Derek.
Can I just put a bow on these UFO files real quick before we jump to this, though?
I wasn't done.
Oh, you weren't
go
done?
ahead.
No. Well, I just want to say that I think it's really important. This is just like you were explaining, and in it's the same manner. They're going to release these. If you look, like all the files that have been released are late 40s, early 50s. Like they didn't touch Roswell. They didn't touch certain things. So like I think they're just priming us in steps. It's like if you were going to like open up the files of an encyclopedia and you start with A and you get to Z, like they're working us towards Z and we got the letter A drop. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's very sequential, and I think in how they want to release it. And again, we only saw the FBI, we saw the Department of War release these files. We know that we didn't see CIA, we didn't see non-governmental agency files, we didn't see like all these other spheres that are involved in this as well. So
yeah, and you have Burchett. I think it was Burchett who said that there's like a holy crap moment coming.
Mm-hmm.
And he's suggested that if people saw what he saw, it would I paraphrasing, but like cause chaos. You know, it was like people would lose their minds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there is a gravity to this if you choose to believe that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so this is stage one of who knows how many. I get a feeling that we're going to be dealing with physical stuff soon, possibly even biological.
Mm-hmm.
I get a sense that soon-ish, one of these drops is going to have legendary, historic pictures of things, and I wouldn't be surprised if they start presenting the idea of bodies.
Dude, if the Roswell autopsy video is legit, I'm going to lose my mind. Because that's always been disproven so many times. Like, I just so want it to be true.
You'll be like, I don't know what's true then. I don't know what's true.
I just always wanted it to be real. It's so cool.
Yeah. So you bring up Roswell, which is a legendary story. The story we're going to get into on the show is one of my personal legendary, most favorite stories. And he's going through on this mission. They travel to this very specific location where they're supposed to retrieve information off a downed aircraft. Like, that was his job. I don't think he even knows what everybody else's jobs were. But they were instructed to destroy the craft with thermite after they completed their mission, and then they were supposed to set off a localized EMP to make sure everything was neutralized. And so, Jack, if you could bring up this clip, and we'll just start playing it. And I might tell you to jump forward because I know it's a little bit of a clip here.
Can I speak as fanboy real quick? Yeah. This is one of the only episodes I think I've listened to 2 or 3 times. Oh. Like, I love this episode.
There's a lot of fans that listen to every episode 2 or 3 times.
I'm sorry.
So I don't know what to tell you. Go ahead, Jack.
I'll just explain more about the aircraft. So when we got up to it, man, like it was, like I said, it was like a checkerboard. So like, but every other check on the craft was like a ceramic tile almost, but it was super cold. Like all the ceramic tiles were like way colder than it should have been. So I don't know if they were being like cooled from the inside, because as we found out when we did get inside, it still had power inside. So it wasn't like a completely dead ship. So anyways, we worked our way around like to the aft end, I guess on the side that we couldn't see as we moved around. And that's where we saw there's like a big tear in the side of it, which obviously we concluded, okay, this is what brought it down. Now we didn't know why. We couldn't tell. It didn't look like an explosion from the inside. It didn't look like they got hit. So anyways, there was a tear in the side. So something had happened. So we work our way up, and we actually breach in through the doors, like just behind the cockpit. And as you walk in, I don't know, have you ever been on like an aircraft that's set up for anything other than transport?
Not that I can remember. No.
Okay, so this looked like it just looked like a traditional like workspace. So you had like once we got inside, like I said, the lights were still on. That was fine, and there were just different workstations that set up for different things. If you've ever been on a ship or a submarine, if you've ever been through any of those workstations, it was set up kind of like that. So obviously each station has a different function, and it seemed to be pretty intact. There wasn't really much noticeable damage on the inside. So at this time, me and one of the scientists, and this is a guy that I had worked with before, so I was very comfortable working with him. We kind of moved on to our little area where we had to work, and we got to work. He was doing his thing, I was doing mine. So it is dark out now. And like I said, we're in the elements, so we're hearing what I guess we thought were like wolves and stuff, like not too close, but it just gave you a chill, man, because just when you think that you're just doing your job, then you're reminded that you're like in the middle of somewhere, and not only could there be hostile humans, but now we're hearing things that would probably eat us, and yeah, so it was just I was starting to feel uneasy. And nothing strange even has happened yet. And I'm already feeling it because I think the tension was like bleeding over from the scientists, because they were, like I said, they were feeling a certain kind of way before we even left. So we get there. So basically I extracted, I would go through like each machine. And actually for the way that the aircraft looked, I thought, you know, what kind of tech is inside this thing? I have no idea. I don't know if I have the gear for it. But I did actually. I mean, it wasn't like super advanced stuff like I thought it might be. It was pretty traditional hardware. So I was able to connect. And what I would do, I would just extract all the data I could. I would upload a virus into that system, and then I would move on. Okay. So now this is when this story starts getting a little bit strange. And there's a few points that get strange, and this is one of them. So I arrive at this particular workstation, and the screen was still on, which, you know, that's fine. It wasn't really doing anything. It was just there, but it had a language, like it had characters on the screen, and it was a language that I've never seen. And at the time, you know, I was trained. I could identify about 7 languages just on sight. So for me to see some characters that I didn't even recognize, it was pretty strange. So I'm kind of like standing up over this console, and I pull my field manual out, and I'm flipping through, and I'm trying to find what language this is. I guess this might have been more for my curiosity than anything else. And as I was doing that, I did have the terminal plugged in, so I was extracting data as well. So while I was waiting for that, I was looking through my field manual. And at that time, the guy with me came up, and he's kind of hovering over like to the side of me, like looking what I'm doing. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I explained to him the situation. I said, "I'm just trying to identify what this is." And then I just go on about my business. I'm flipping through some of the pages. I'm, you know, doing my thing, and he's still standing there. And then like, Tony, man, he just like put his hand like calmly, but very sternly on the book I was looking through. All right. So I looked up at him, and he says, you're not going to find it in there. And I says, or I must have had a look on my face. Like, how do you know, something? Cause I'm just looking at him, and it's kind of like a moment of silence, and our eyes are locked. And I said, well, how do you know? I said something like that. And he says, this is strange, man. He says, and at the time I didn't even know what this was. But somebody like you, Tony, you probably will know what this is right away, because I had to, later on I went and found out about this. But anyways, he says, you won't find it there. And I'm like, why not? He said it's Enochian. And I had never heard of that before.
Oh man.
So, do you know what that is?
Well, no, I'd never heard Enochian. Is it like a derivative of the word Enochian?
Um, I don't know.
Okay.
It starts with the E. It's Enochian.
All right.
I believe, yeah, I believe it's pronounced Enochian. That's what he said to me.
Okay. Yeah. No, I've never
So,
heard that. No.
okay, all right. So that makes two of us at the time. So, so I just look at him, man. I'm kind of puzzled because I never heard of that. I'm trying to like, my mind is like cycling through, trying to say, okay, like, well, what language is this from? Anyway.
Hold on a second. Are you talking about? Oh, you said Enochian as in Enock or CH, like Enoch?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. That one.
Oh, Enochian. Gotcha.
Oh, is that what it is?
Enochian.
Yes.
Yes.
And
That's.
I was oblivious at the time.
Yeah. That's like I'm not trying to shift gears or even like get you off track or anything like that. I want you to continue.
No,
but the Enochian language it's like it's like a cultic or angelic kind of like I don't know much about it, but it's for like I'm gonna butcher it, but I know I definitely have heard of this, and it's like really secretive kind of like language, right?
Yeah. I mean, since I have researched it as much as I could, so I kind of have a grasp, I think, of what it is. But at the time when I didn't, and I just looked at him, and our eyes were locked, and he knew that he had to answer me because I didn't know what he was talking about, and I was looking like our pupils were locked, and I could see like his chin quivering, like when somebody's about to say something they don't want to say, and like their muscles are like involuntarily like shaking.
Yeah.
So he's looking at me, and I can see his chin doing that. I'm like, what is going on here? Like I'm suddenly confused, kind of, about this whole situation. And he says it's an ancient demon language, and I didn't believe him. I said no. I said that doesn't. There's no such thing. And anyways, so I kind of try to pull my manual back from him, and he's standing there, and this guy, I'll just say, like, he's very professional all the time, very polite all the time. And when he saw that I didn't believe him, he kind of like doubled down on my manual when I tried to take it away, and he looked at me again, and he said, "Get your job done, and let's get the fuck out of here." And he would never cuss, you know what I mean? I've never heard him say anything like that before, but he was serious, Tony.
Wow.
And I could just like.
Am I unmuted? Sorry, I forgot that word was in there. Totally forgot that was in there. We should have bleeped that out. Jack, why don't you bleep that out? It's Jack's fault. Gosh, make sure you make a note to bleep that out, and when after this is over, you can go back in and bleep it out and cut it. That bothers me. I've changed a lot as a podcast host. I try not to have cursing on the show these days. I forgot that was there. So I mean, we can stop it there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the idea, though. So, like, he's introduced to this idea that there's this Enochian language, and this is like 2019. Like, I was still like thinking about Bigfoot, and trying to figure out how I was going to get in a headlock and get in the back of my truck. Like, I was strictly focused on certain things, and this was just way outside my league of an interview. And I remember feeling that way. I was like, this is really cool, but I don't know what I'm doing here, But the Enochian language, looking back, it being a fallen angel language, like even the scientists said it's a demon language. Well, what's that doing in the craft? Why is that in the craft? Where'd this craft come from? Was this craft that he was in something that came from another realm, gifted or crashed for them to retrieve data? It sounded like he said he was uploading a virus. So was it something that we reverse engineered, and they were going to gather the data, or destroy the data and destroy the craft so that nobody else can have that? But say it's reverse engineered. That would suggest that whoever is doing the reverse engineering, whether it's a private organization, corporation, to within our government, is dabbling with Enochian language, fallen angel language, demonic things to get certain reverse engineered craft to work the way they want it to work. You hear these conspiracies about black masses happening before rocket launches and things like that. At what extent does that become maybe more plausible? You know, this guy, again, 2019 comes on the show, and back then, dude, I was not this giant. I'm still not giant. I wish I was like gianter, you know, but like I'm not. I wasn't well known back then, you know. And he comes on the show and talks to me and he canceled. That's I almost forgot to say that. Like the first time we were scheduled to record, he canceled because he got cold feet. It was months later. He reached out and he's like, "If you're still willing, I'll talk to you." Wow. And so we talked, and I released that episode. And that was the first episode that I ever had that popped hard. I remember, and this is just audio. I wasn't on YouTube then, and I had like I think it was like nearly 100,000 downloads in the first week on that episode. Like
you made it big.
I was like, I made it. Quitting trucking, hon. I'm done driving truck. And then the next week, pew, back to 200 views. You know, but no, it wasn't 200. It was like a couple thousand. But yeah, I mean, so what do you make of that? You know,
where was the location?
He wouldn't tell us.
He wouldn't tell us.
So I get the sense that it wasn't in our country. I think he said it was a multiple day journey to get to wherever they were going, to get off the boat and then go in further for multiple days. I think it was a 2-day journey to get to the actual craft.
It felt like Northern Russia to me when I heard the story.
Really?
If I was
You're not the first person to suggest that.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not the first person to suggest that. Like almost Eastern Russia.
Yeah.
Like Northern Eastern Russia. Yeah. Somebody, maybe you're the one who suggested that to me before.
I don't know.
But, you know, he wouldn't disclose where this was. Charlie's not his real name.
Mm-hmm.
I remember sitting with him talking about like, what are we going to call you? And he's like, I don't know. Echo, Bravo, Charlie. And so I was like, Echo, Bravo, Charlie. Okay, gotcha. And so he comes on and shares this story, and then he tells me that he's no longer in this country, our country, America. He doesn't live here anymore. He said this experience that he had scared him so bad. From his perspective, I don't understand it, but from his perspective, whatever happened to him here, and there's way more that happened to him on this trip.
Oh yeah.
It scared him so bad that when he got out of the service, he left the country. He doesn't want to live here. I don't think he's been back. I keep telling him, if you ever come back, we got to meet up, man.
Yeah.
Like, we got to meet up. But he's in another country. And I know he's still in another country because just the other day when we were texting about talking, he was telling me his time zone. So, you know, you can say, oh, that's just somebody telling a story. You're all gullible. But at what point between the government warming you up to disclosure over the last 10 years, now dropping files that, you know, because you're desensitized, you want to say is a nothing burger, but it's not a nothing burger. Your government just told you that they've been looking into these kind of things. Like, you should at least react to it the same way that people reacted to the idea that the government came out and said MK Ultra was real at one point. Like, that's a problem, you know? It's a real problem. The fact that Tulsi Gabbard can't have MK Ultra and JFK files on her desk because the CIA and inner agencies are taking stuff. There's a war going on inside these that we're not seeing. Like, these are real problems. So if we see all that stuff in the news, is this guy's story too much of a stretch? I don't think so, but I'm very desensitized.
Yeah.
You
I mean, knowing what, like, when I first heard this, I think actually the week it came out, I was one of those listeners, but listening to it now, understanding what we know now, it's clearly a reverse engineered device.
I think so.
It seems that way. The fact that he could connect his computer even with 10 years ago to this and still access and put the virus in there, you know, like, it's pretty incredible.
I don't remember what he said about the tech that he had, but he was specially trained on special technology. I remember in the beginning of the episode, he started talking about how, I don't know how all this works. I've never been in the military. I don't know. But he had like a selection sheet of 3 things that he would prefer to do. And everybody gets shipped out, and he's the only one on base still waiting for orders. And I think it was like a month or 2. And then all of a sudden he's given what he's doing, and it's nothing that he wanted. And so it seems almost as if like they saw something that he would be useful for, and they're like, yeah, you're not you're not doing anything you think you want to do. Like, and they trained him on tech. And so he was, I got the sense that whatever he was using was technology that was not just like a USB cord, you know?
Right.
It was special technology.
Mm-hmm.
And he also said that the team that he was with was a repeatable team. It was the same guys every mission he went on, the same scientists. Everything was the same except for this mission was bizarrely off the wall. I would love, actually, you know, I never even considered this until just now. The way the everything's being pushed right now, maybe just by chance, if you're watching or listening right now and you recognize the story because you were somebody else that was there, I'd love to talk to you. Yeah. I'd love to talk to you. And also tell me who Charlie is. I'm just kidding. I know who Charlie is. So, but that would be incredible. And to be able to have a verified account, you know, and now that I say that, somebody's going to make up a story and, oh yeah, I was there, you know? But yeah, I always fall back on this story because of the detail, the depths of it, the personal side of it that I know from just community. Like he's still operating in capacities. There goes Tony saying things very strategically again.
And everyone's going to ask questions and say, what do you mean, Tony?
Yeah. He's still operating capacities, and he's shown me things years ago that I was at that time surprised by. He showed me, and I don't remember if he showed me a screenshot or if it was an actual link. I wonder if I could even find it. I might be able to find it. If I can find it, I'll post it, actually, unless he doesn't want me to. But he showed me a website that was supposedly doing human cloning.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, what? Yeah. Yeah. And so I imagine it was on the dark web or something. I don't know. But interesting cat for sure. And I believe him. And as much as I believe him, you have to always leave room for, but maybe he's BSing me, you know?
Well, what's interesting about these case files that came out is there's a big piece in here about Oak Ridge, which is near us.
That's right.
And so I find that really fascinating because there was multiple instances of UFOs being spotted exactly from Knoxville, exactly 11 miles to the southwest, which is exactly where Oak Ridge is. And there was multiple times throughout a course of like 18 months that the radar was picking up these anomalous objects at 100,000 feet elevation. Some of them were only a few hundred feet in elevation, and they kept going over to Oak Ridge. And in the very first file, they actually hypothesized that this could be the Russians. So like, are the Russians spying? And it really changed my thought because like they always say like, oh, the alien brothers are always wondering if they're concerned about our atomic energy and how we're going to handle the Earth and blah, blah, blah. That's the spin, man. I think the Russians were investigating our bases. And if you look at the files, there's a huge link to like Los Alamos again, right? What was Los Alamos?
Missing scientists.
Missing scientists.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to give you the deer in headlights on that. I don't know.
No, it's a secret laboratory, right? Where they're doing all kinds of stuff. And there's tons of orbs and UFO sightings in this released documents with Los Alamos in it too. And that's again where they were doing research for the nuclear testings. So you have all these tie-ins, and it's like here we have like a Russian ship. I think when I listen to this podcast, a reverse engineered craft from a different nation, right? Like, and then we have these articles and these files that are getting released hypothesizing that that's the case. Like, who's to say we're the only ones that are reverse engineering stuff?
Well, we're definitely not. And go ahead, Jack.
Oh, okay. I was just going to play devil's advocate. So why would U.S. operators be investigating a Russian crash site on Russian soil?
Can I venture an answer to that?
Yeah.
It wasn't a Russian crash. It was our crash, and they had to go take care of it before the Russians got to it.
Good.
Like, if the Russians are spying on us, you don't think we're spying on them?
That's what they do with
with
spy
our
planes.
UFOs?
Yeah.
And also, what happened after World War II? We took the Nazi scientists, but who else did? Russians took the Nazi scientists.
Mhm.
So there was like a race right there. And how does that play into the moon landing? Just
The space race.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
dominoes falling here.
Yeah.
Like there's clearly a timestamp on when things got weird, and it seems like a lot of signs point to Nazi Germany after the war. Where'd the scientists go? And then we know what the scientists were doing during Nazi Germany. Like, I'm not an expert on it, but there's a lot of occultic practices. We also know the Aleister Crowley type of stuff, where he was doing Appalachia working, and Lamb came, and Lamb looks like a gray. Lamb comes out of an egg, manifests out of an egg. Jake Barber is talking about how he was part of a crash retrieval team that was recovering an egg-shaped UFO. Everybody scoffed at him. Everybody laughed at him. That's ridiculous. It looks fake. It looks like you filmed it off your carpet, all that stuff. But we do have historical narrative of Aleister Crowley talking about the symbolism of an egg and an entity manifesting out of it. And calling itself Lamb. Then you have the Enochian language on this ship. You have the Nazi scientists dabbling in dark magic, dark arts, trying to create different things. The declassified. Like, there's so much that points to a dark origin, and this story is, I would say, is possibly one of them.
And then Amy Eskridge tying into the SRIs, like all this stuff. Like, it all ties back together. It's crazy.
So speaking of some housekeeping here. Guys, don't go anywhere. I have some images to show you before we get out of here. I wanted to say it in the beginning and I forgot, so we probably lost half the people. I probably bored everybody today. But if you're still watching, I have some UFO images that I have that I want to show you, so that if you didn't get the juicy sweet tooth nothing, it was a nothing burger, and you didn't get that juice from last Friday's dump, I got you covered.
Oh yeah.
Info dump, to be fair.
What'd you say?
Info dump.
What's an info dump? What's it?
It was a file dump, not just a dump.
Oh, did I say just dump? Well, some people think it was just a dump.
That's fair.
Big old turd. So we're trying something a little new. I think it's the next 2 weeks. You guys are planning it for the members, because some of the stuff that we have done on the live, we didn't get to go deep on because I yapped too much.
All the research that Jack and I did.
Yeah. So I think you guys, I don't know if this is the right order, but I think next Thursday you guys are planning on doing a deep dive on the 1983 CIA document that was discussed with the homunculus and all that stuff. And then the following week, you're going to do another deep dive on the missing scientists part of it. And am I allowed to sit in on this or not?
We would like you to participate.
Participate. I will try to participate. I will sit here and let you guys lecture me on what it is.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
Yeah. Ask your questions.
Yeah, just
Ask your questions to the professors.
yes. And so we're trying something a little new with that, and see if people like it. So, if I'm not here, it's because something happened, and I'm like, guys, just do it. But I think it's gonna be fun, and I hope people enjoy it. So. We covered a lot today, I think. Probably a bunch of nonsense. People are like, I don't know. Tony started talking about a UFO when he was a kid, and then he started talking about dumps. I don't know what happened. So
Pangea.
Yeah, Pangea. Oh, that was so much fun though. I enjoyed it. That was fun. Like, get to the topic. This is my show. I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about, and you can either suffer through it or bounce, baby. That's just the way it works. These guys are like, don't tell people to leave. I'll tell you to leave if I want to tell you to leave. Anyways, I had a fun time today talking about this stuff. Now, when I started this podcast, I didn't realize how close in time it was to me starting the podcast. So I went back in the time machine. That's why I had to flip through my images, because I was at the very beginning of my images on my phone. February, I think it was February of 2017. Yeah. So I dropped my first episode January 19th, 2017. Then in February of 2017, I have images sent to me by one of my first listeners, and if I remember the story correctly, he is Canadian. He lived, or at least was visiting, maybe off of a bay, and there was a storm coming in, and so he took his phone out to take a video of the lightning striking the water, and then afterwards he was slowly scrubbing through the video because he wanted to catch the lightning striking the water so he can take a screenshot and have a picture of the lightning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he notices in the image, it seems like there is a craft coming out of the water. And I think it's 3 images specifically. You see the progression of this disc on an angle shooting out of the water, just above the water. And then you see it in 2 other images working its way across the sky as a lightning bolt strikes. He said he never saw it in person. Yes, thank you, Jack. So this is the very first image. You see it in the top left corner. Actually, is there an arrow picture? Ooh, you're so good, Jack. Good job. Killing it, man. So you see that craft coming out of the water, whatever bay this is in Canada. And then show the next one, Jack. You see to the right side of the lightning bolt, you see it. I think we have an arrow image. We don't?
Yes, we do.
Oh, we do. So there's the arrow image.
Oh, that's cool.
Of that craft. Now it's no longer just above the water. And then the next one is in the top right corner. Is there an arrow picture for that? No arrow picture?
No arrow
Man,
picture.
I failed. That was rookie, man. I was a rookie back then. But if you could take your mouse and circle it, Jack, will they see that? No?
Nope.
Probably not. Okay. Just trust me, it's there. If you look at the Slingshot Nation Live logo in the top right corner, go to the left a little bit and then drop down a little bit. You'll see the disc there. But that's a 3-image progression of this disc coming up out of the water during the storm. Can you show the enhanced image, Jack, that I sent over to you? So this is my iPhone back in 2017 trying to edit the image to make it pop. And I think I did a pretty good job for not knowing what I was doing. And I don't know what to tell you. It's a disc coming up out of the water.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
This is better than what was released.
that's why I saved it for the end.
Dude, so good.
So that only the real ones would get to see it.
That's so good.
I always think about these pictures. Whenever I think about this stuff, I'm like, I got good ones.
Yeah.
So,
So do you think that it triggered the lightning itself,
oh, I've never thought about that.
or did it like use the lightning to emerge into our sphere?
I assumed that it had nothing to do with the lightning. I just assumed it was doing its transportation, and
It's
was
literally
caught.
coming out of the bolt of lightning.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's Spielberg right there. Anybody know what that would be from? What movie?
No, what do you got?
That would be from War of the Worlds.
War of the
Oh, War of the
Li-
Worlds.
The lightning like implants the
Yes.
the War of the Worlds
Oh, that's
aliens
right.
in the ground.
And we all know Spielberg knows stuff. He's privy to information. I'm telling you, some of the stuff that Spielberg does and writes about is not fiction. And it's not that he just cooked up the idea on his own. I don't know if he knows where he's getting the ideas, but it is very real
He's astral projecting.
at the very least. Well, that's funny, Jack. Jack just put up the allegedly. Have you been doing that the whole show?
No.
Oh, okay.
We got to use that
I love
every
that.
week.
I love
every
that, Jack.
week.
Keep that. That's
So good.
perfect. For the audio listeners right now, Jack, on our pontification, put up on the lower third, allegedly. That's great. Keep that handy, though. That's going to come in handy. So, yeah. The UFO file drop happened on Friday. There's a lot of things we covered on it, suspicions. I think it's odd that we had this virality moment last week leading up to it, almost as if it was meant to happen, organized. I think I got my sanity back for the most part. I recovered pretty well. I think yesterday was my first full day of being sane again.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I feel like me again,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But here we are on May 14th, 2026, and we can no longer say our government has no documentation of UAPs. They have released a first round of a nothing burger,
Mm-hmm.
but it does show that they are looking into it. They have for a very long time. And as these drops come forward, if they're allowed to come forward, like we saw with Tulsi Gabbard and that whole thing with MK Ultra, JFK, if they don't confiscate the information coming out, I think as we go forward, we're going to realize that what we thought was sci-fi is no longer sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
And how are we going to grapple with that?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And so no matter what the spin is on this information coming out, guys, because, right now, the first drop, there's nothing to spin really. I don't think. I haven't seen anything that's just like, I don't feel like anybody's trying to manipulate me. Maybe they put the parachute flare video in there to I got you moment kind of thing. I don't know. And if that's true, then it's another manifestation and evident that there is a inward war going on with this stuff. But I think as we move forward, the information is going to get more muddy. It's going to get more complex. And at all costs, I'm going to read this quote again to you guys, because I just, when I saw that, I was like, this is good. The deception doesn't require the phenomenon to be fake. It requires the interpretation to be controlled. Therefore, hold the evidence loosely. So all this stuff that's coming out, moving forward, hold it loosely. Hold the Christ tight. When you're holding it loose, you're not saying that I don't know if this is real, this is bunk or whatever, but it's like whatever grip you have on that evidence, make sure your grip on Christ is 10 times tighter. So you're not deceived. If you guys got anything else, speak up now, or we can wrap it up.
Aren't you going to be somewhere tomorrow? Did you mention that?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm going to be at Remnant Revival Church in Hendersonville, Tennessee with Todd Coconato. Service starts at 6:30. And I don't know what to expect, but it's going to be fun. I literally don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go there and I'll be speaking at his church, and we're gonna get weird. And my goal and desire is to show the world through my revelations of doing what I do for the last 10 years that the supernatural realm is very real, it's very active, and it seeks to destroy you. Your only hope is in Jesus Christ. That's my goal.
And did you mention the person that was here today? Do we want to talk about that at all? No. Okay.
I'd rather not.
Okay.
I wish you didn't even bring it up.
Till next time.
They'll find out when they find out. ... All right. Anything else, Jack? we were so close to being good, and then bring that up.
Fault. Well,
now you got to chop that out too, Jack. No, that's going to cause more conspiracy.
Yeah, no.
All right, guys. Listen, I love you guys. I really do appreciate you being here, tuning into another Slingshot Nation Live. You guys, listen. It's been a whirlwind the last week. These guys have been really reading a lot of the comments, and they've been telling me how much love you guys have been throwing at me. Comment sections give me anxiety in general, so especially this last week, I've been staying away, but we've been getting emails of people saying they love us and they support all this stuff, and I just absolutely love the fact that I have a really solid crew of people tuning into this platform, and they love what we do, they love us, they trust us. They love my family. We literally today just got a bunch of mail in from our PO box, and there was I think 2 or 3 things that weren't even addressed to us. It was addressed to my wife. People are praying. They're sending prayers to her. They're sending suggestions and all this stuff, and it's evident that you guys absolutely love us, and we love you too. Before we get out of here, Jack just sent a note over that we have super chats. Yep. I'm gonna let you run with this because I feel very awkward going over super chats.
We'll just say thank you to everybody who's super chatted and to those who also gifted memberships. There's a lot of them today.
So nice.
Okay.
10 membership gifts.
Wait, somebody gifted memberships to other people?
Yeah. Gifted
You
10
guys
memberships.
are so generous.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. His disciple 369.
That is so cool. That is so cool. I don't even know how that works. So he buys memberships for other people?
Yep. Yeah.
Does he choose who they go to?
No.
It's just random.
Yep.
Golly, that's awesome. That's really cool.
And then we have, I'm going to not even try and say the name of the person, Benicus. I did anyway. You guys need to make a video that is all the AI videos of the start of Slingshots.
Yeah. You guys like that? I mean, I have fun making them.
You started posting them now, right?
Yeah, we're posting them on Instagram. I guess that's on Facebook, right, Jack? Where do they go?
Yeah, Instagram and Facebook.
Instagram and Facebook?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's just so much fun. There's just so much fun. I know AI is going to doom us all, but until then, enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride.
And then somebody said Dockle Day made the flood Pangea connection too. Dockala?
Oh, is that like a YouTuber?
I guess, yes.
Okay. Oh, so it was an original thought. I thought I was the first one at the table, and they're like, no.
Wow.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
It's cool though.
And Jimin says, I saw a silver craft like the elliptical in 2022.
Okay, so that's the way they described it in the FBI document, the FBI rendering. They called it elliptical. And so this person says, I saw a silver craft like the elliptical in 2022. Interesting. Very interesting. Makes you wonder, it makes you wonder what that is, that back in when did it say on that picture when that happened? I think it was actually a long time ago. I think it was actually a long time. I want to say the 50s, 1950s, 54.
I don't see anything for that.
Which one are we talking about?
I don't know, I'm just talking.
The metallic one, right?
Yeah.
I don't see anything for
that
it.
one.
I think it was 2023.
Oh, really?
Actual site photo with FBI lab rendered graphic overlay depicting corroborating eyewitness reports from September 2023 of an apparent ellipsoid bronze metallic object materializing out of a bright light in the sky, 130 to 195 feet in length and disappearing instantaneously.
I'm taking two things away from this. One, that happened really close in time to that person's experience, and so it's similar technology and a similar time frame. Two, not as good with numbers as I thought. So that's very unfortunate.
And the word ellipsoid is real. That's my theory.
Ellipsoid, right?
Yeah, that's a good.
I forget who it was. I saw reading through the documents. It might have been Benny Johnson. By the way, Benny Johnson is the one that inspired the AI videos in the beginning, because every time he'll post a video about like something underneath the pyramids, and I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this, right? And then it starts out with some weirdo running through the sand and the pyramids. I'm like, that's fun. I noticed that I found myself getting excited to watch the AI video before I even get into the content, and I was like, I want to do that, and so I stole it from him. But I think it was him that was reading through some of these things, and when he saw that word, he's like, ellipsoid. I was like. So I'm not the only one that can't read. Perfect. We're all illiterate. That's
well,
great.
you know what though? The government makes up words. Isn't that not true?
UAP.
Yeah, they make up words, and then we have to figure out what the heck they're talking about.
Jack and I were in a conference with. This wasn't secret. It was public, and there were hundreds of people there in Utah. But we were in a. Was it a Paracon, Jack, or something? Phenomicon. And one of the people that's I'm not going to name him, but he's public, and he's been, I don't know if he's more public now, but he was more like behind the scenes type guy when it comes to the whole disclosure thing. Mm-hmm. He kind of broke down why they call it UAPs and not UFOs. And if I remember correctly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Jack, but it basically boils down to is UFO has a very one way of thinking about things through culture and pop culture, and they wanted to have a clean slate essentially to interpret the narrative the way they wanted it to be interpreted. So again, the deception doesn't require the phenomenon to be fake. It requires the interpretation to be controlled. And so that starts from the very words that come out of their mouth to describe certain things. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. I talked to him. I thought he was a really swell guy. And I'd swell. He's a fine guy. Fine man.
This man's
fine
really
young gent he is. He can come into the studio anytime. He won't because he knows I'm crazy. But yeah, so you guys got anything else?
I just want to read the Ephesians 3 thing I shared with you really quick, because I think it's really important for all our watchers. It says, God's purpose in all of this was to use the church to display his wisdom in its rich variety to all the unseen rulers and authorities in heavenly places. And so that's you. If you're listening, if you want to read your word and get diving in and get your wisdom ready to go, because we're going to just blow up these unseen rulers, man. That's the game plan.
Love it. Read it again with that framing that you just said.
All right.
Blowing up the unseen rulers. Get your Nephilim Blaster 2000.
That's right. God's purpose in all this was to use the church to display his wisdom in its rich variety.
Rich variety.
That's right.
We have different jobs and we have different reasons for being here. God has us on our own callings and paths within the church and the body of Christ.
That's right. We're going to speak our wisdom. And it says, to all the unseen rulers and authorities in the heavenly places. Aliens.
Boom, boom.
Nice.
You got anything else, buddy, over there?
I'm good.
Dude,
Love you guys.
Before we get out of here, Jack, go back to you. Look at that hair. Look at that hair. But also look at the background behind him. We changed the background. We have books. We have different things. I still have the scriptures. So in the top right corner of the screen is a framed scripture. I think that one is Psalm 82, I believe.
Yeah, and then Psalm 91.
It's the 1623 King James Bible, out of the 1623 King James Bible. And then for Jack, yep, there, his right side, there it is. That is Psalm 82 or 91, Psalm 91. And Jack, what is that one? It's
the Geneva 1579 Geneva Bible.
1579 Geneva Bible. So
gotta have those Nephilim blaster verses read out our
absolutely.
shoulder.
Jack, go back to you. I'm not done looking at you. And so I just really like that background. It feels good. It's fresh. It's clean. It's just I've been wanting to change it up, and I think Jack or Derek, fist bump. You did a great job. Great job, man. You did a really good job on that. So, anyways, I'm just rambling. And oh shoot, I have to go get my kids from school. Guys, I love you. See ya. Bye. Boof. I gotta go.
Oh boy, is that Slingshot?
Yeah. Slingshot season. Hey, let's run it. Hey. Grace hit me like boom, can't miss. No, God with me, whole squad gon' win. Devil try to throw shade, I grin 'cause the light too bright where I've been.